Fine. So yesterday we started, right? We started with the very basics of what is, we had seen what is the, you know, the visualizations, why visualizations is being used, and what are the fundamentals of this, and the interface we started with, environment settings we did, and basic cleaning activities where we started getting the data into the model and started doing the basic cleaning activities on the data. Right. Today we'll further those activities and we'll know like how to do further activities on the data and what are the issues we may have, some of the issues in the data types and error we may find, how we can remove the error, some of the error. So yeah, basic issues we'll be seeing. So let's see. And I hope all the new folks who have joined, right, all you all have downloaded already this Power BI
Yes,
desktop,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And you also, okay, maybe please share your IDs because you also need the data, okay? And which is shared through G Drive. You all, and I will suggest every one of you that you also work along with me, whatever I do here. Right? So, fine. Let's go back to our previous session. We were last time we left at doing the changes of the data type, right? Type of the the data, whatever we had, right? The data type we were changing, and let's say we changed many of the data types and we stopped at the last one. There is one issue with the data. So here you can see, and I also told you that this color code here, this will give you the quality of the column. Fine. And this quality here, it says that we have 63% error in this column, right? That means around 631 values have error. And we had seen that, okay, this is not able to recognize the input data. We also did see this. Let's say, let's go back and see the error. These are the error records. And when we see here, click on this record, right? We are seeing that we could not pass the input provided as a date value. So the value should be date value, but it is not able to pass the input as a date value because it is recognizing the value, input value should be the United States value, right? As recognized by the United States dates, but it is not recognizing the value as the United States dates, right? Let's say how we can, how we can uh, to fix this issue, right? So we have to, go back and we have to change only all other columns, whatever we have here, are fine, right? All the data types are fine. We don't have any issue on other columns. We have only issue with this column. So we have to go back to this and we see here, you can see we don't have the gear icon even to change only the data type for this column, right? So we can remove this and now we have an option, okay, that we can choose all of the columns at once, whatever column we want, right? We can choose all of these columns at once right? And change the data type automatically. So how we can do that? We can ask Power BI to detect the data type for all of these columns and go to this transform ribbon. Under this transform ribbon, we have an option called detect data type. Fine, detect data type. So just click on this. You'll see that all of the data types are changed, and you will find that all of these are changed correctly. Fine, all of these are changed correctly. Now,
Okay.
that
Hello, can you explain this again? I couldn't
yes,
understand.
yes. Uh,
Hello.
yeah, yeah, please.
Can you explain this detect data type?
Okay, detect data type. Fine. So detect data type is like when we can ask Power BI to detect the data type automatically. We are not giving any option. We are not, changing it manually. The data type, all of this data type, we are not changing this data type manually, but we are asking, Power BI to detect the data type automatically. So, for this, we are selecting all of the column at once. All of the columns we are selecting at once and asking to detect the data type automatically. So here we have the option under the transform, right? Under transform ribbon, here under home ribbon, we have these options, right? Under transform ribbon, we have the option called detect data type. It will automatically detect the data type of the, currently selected columns. Whatever columns we are selecting, we have selected all of those columns, data type will be automatically detected, right? Uh, is it clear or still you are confused?
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Should be clear. It's not,
yeah.
yeah. Fine. So, okay, we are seeing that there's one more column, which is price. Okay. This is also having issues. So we have some error in this data set. So let's see what is the error we have here. Okay. We have an error here. So this error is like, okay, we could not convert to number. So this is being converted to number, but as there is some NA value, it is not, converting the values to number. Fine. That means we have to also check the price and we have to do it separately. So let's detect the numbers before price, before price and after price till the. So we have selected this value before price, all the columns and change the data type. Then we are selecting from type 1 until the last, second last column and change the data type. Now there are two data types which need to be taken care. One is this last date, and what did we see? That this date was not recognized, right? So we have to understand what is that date format, which was as the input, right? So this date format as the input, right? What is that date format? So you can see this is the India date format, right? The input date format is the India date format, isn't 15/01/2017. So we have date, then month, then year. So US date format and all that, how those will be? Those will be like either we have the year first or we have the month first. So like that, we'll be having the US date format and all. So here we have to say, we have to inform that this is the India date format as input. So now we are going to use a local to say to yeah. Okay, so we are going to use here. Please be attentive on this, right? So here, this we have set this file, entire file, for the input value and US value. Okay. Now, as this particular column is a different input value, this particular column is different input value. So earlier the local is already set for US. Okay, local is already set for US. What does that mean? That the input value, whatever we'll be having, is being recognized from the US local. Okay. Now, this value is different. That means, and this is from India local or related country wherever we are using this kind of date and all. So from that local, you can now you have to use the local for the particular country. So you are now saying that, okay, this is India date. Okay. So the date time, so India date. Now we are saying that this is 29/3, this is input value, and that's how this value is here, right? This is the India local, and that's how this value here it is, right? We want to also, this is also, I think, same for UK also, okay? So you can check even, I think, UK value also will be having the same local. So let's see whether UK, United Kingdom is having the same local. Yeah. Yeah, you can see this is also having the similar same local. So first day, then month, then year. So let's see if I change it to UK local, whether it is working fine or not. So let's see. Now it looks fine. Okay, it looks fine that it has UK locals we have used, and now let's refresh it so that we'll know if there is any error or something like that. So we have just refreshed the data and it looks fine. Nothing, no error is there, right? So yeah, you have to, if such, so that is how this local is very important. Okay, for input data, this input dates or input currency information. So for these, local is very important to set the change, to do the changes on the data. Now we want to set the we want to set the uh, data type for price, but we had seen that this is also giving error because of NA value. We had seen that there's some error because of the NA value. Let's see, let's change it to number type, decimal number type, or fixed decimal number type, for the reason that it is currency data. Right. So we have now just changed it to fixed decimal number type, and we are seeing here that there's some error, 1% error in the data. 18 records, we have some error, right? And we had already seen that because of the underlying value, we have this error. So now how do we rectify this error, right? So in actual data set, what you will have, you may not have all of these issues, and you may also have these kind of issues. It is also there, right? So in actual data sets also it will be there, and mainly from the web, you know, data, when you extract some data, you will find these kind of issues, mostly in many places. Yeah, unless there is some restriction, validation in their data set, right? You will find this kind of error. Now we have to fix this issue. How we can fix? One, you know, let's say we can remove the error. There is one way to either replace the entire error, right? Or you can delete. You can delete the entire row from the error. So here you can go to remove rows and remove error. right? What it will do, see here, to remove errors. So is it fine to remove the errors like this?
Actually,
No.
no, we are lost some information from our data.
Correct, correct. So
Might be we can replace by any no value or the mean and median of that particular data.
ah,
Might
correct, correct. So yeah, this is absolutely the issue, the thing, because see, we have in other data, right? Other data we have the some value of importance, right, for business. So we need to always think on this front that either we can change the underlying data from the previous step here, we can change the underlying data from the previous step, or we can also replace the error data from this step, right? So you can go to transform and check here that we have the option called replace errors, right? So you will be able to replace the error with some kind of values, right? Here we have direct option to change it to some hard-coded values, right? Maybe 2, 3, 4, or we can just give any value and it will replace value. Or we here in this case, we'll just leave it blank, and what we are going to do is we are also going to change the underlying data. Okay, replace the underlying values. Replace the values. So we cannot replace directly the values from here because the values are not there, right? Here, if you find NA, so this case we don't have the NA value because it is a number type data, right? And we don't have even the NA value here. So this is not possible here from here. You have to go back to previous step, this step, right? And change the replace the values from here. So replace option, now we have a tool called replace values. Right? This option we have from transform as well as from the, so we have to insert a new step and we want to replace the NA value with 0 or just blank. Anything is fine, right? So blank will give you null values and 0 will give you 0 value. So that's fine that we have replaced. Now you can see that it is fixed, automatically fixed. So you are able to see here that some of the things, right? The next step is always dependent on the previous step, right? And the next step is also, picking up the intermediary changes, whatever we are doing in the previous steps. Fine. And this is so awesome, right? That any issues also we can fix through any intermediate steps. Fine. Yeah. So always the next step or current steps are always dependent on the previous steps, and you have to remember that. Now we had seen that we can replace the values, right? And let's see, we have also the same option replace values from here in the home ribbon, right? Under the home ribbon, we are also seeing the same issue, same no, this one, data type. And also the data types option we are seeing also from this home ribbon. So what we are doing mainly just right clicking, and we can also change the data type. So most of the time, most of the people will use this option right click. Okay, just select any column and right click on any of the options to apply the functions. Fine. So this will most of the people will do the same thing. Now, okay, great. So now we will be able to analyze our revenue. We will be able to analyze our stock, right? Stocks are the numbers, whole numbers. Then we will be able to analyze our the prices, average price, and all these things. But okay. Let's say we want to analyze, we want to know, okay, how many sales for different product, or we want to understand the sales for different, part of the year. Okay, when, which season or which time, which month we have more sales information. So we can analyze the sales through revenue also, right? Or the number of product if you want to analyze that which number of which are the products which are being sold most, right? So we can also we have to use the sales, right? Because this is giving the numbers here, fine. So now how do we use this sales if you want to get the numbers, right? If you want to analyze the sales, like total sales you want to analyze, right? How many total sales we have made, right? For this entire data set. And also the sales, average sales we want to, get per month, right? So these are the analysis point we'll be doing while we are doing the sales analysis on the sales information, right? So how do we now get the sales information onto our visualization? We want to just analyze that around the year or for the different months, how we can get the sales information. Fine. Let's say so. Now we'll also take one of the visualization here, and let's understand this visualization. Right. So we have column charts, these bar charts, and all these charts, right? So have you ever used these charts called stack column chart or the clustered column chart? Have you ever used these charts?
Yeah, I have used.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the purpose of using these charts? Why have you used?
Yeah, basically it is used for comparing the data like we have a revenue and the sale of the
Correct.
year.
Absolutely. So yeah, you got it correct. So it is these are the visualizations basically used for comparison of different data points, right? And also this is used for showing displaying some information, right? So mainly it is used for comparing of the data between different categorical information, right? So we want to compare the data. Now what we want to do here in this case, right? We want to compare our sales among the different months of the year, right? We want to know that which month we have how much sales. So for that, you have to use the x-axis data fields here, which will give you the categorical data, and the y-axis, right, which will give you the numerical values of the sales, right? And it will aggregate. And you should always understand that it is always working on the aggregate data. Okay, it will sum up all the data and for the particular category and show the category on the these columns. Fine. So now let's say we want to use the order date here. So we want to use the order date and month. Okay, we want to use just the month from here. Just the month from here. So different months are there, and we want to use the sales information on the y-axis. So now you can see that sales information, we are getting the count of sales for different months, right? For different months, we are getting the count of sales. So is it correct that we are getting the count of sales? We are just having the count of sales and count of distinct sales, right? And which is not correct. Just a second, I take one call. Maybe one of the student is not able to join. Yeah, hello. Yeah, please tell me. Okay, sorry for that. Let me, yeah, I will just, okay, 1 second. What when a student is not able to join the class, so that's why she's pinging. Okay. Let me start this session. Okay, fine. Now what we were looking at is the number of cells, right? Why we are not able to get the other counts? Why we are not able to get the correct value here?
Sorry, which value?
So I'm saying why we are not able to correct, why we are not able to get the correct value here?
Basically, we will there. I think they want sum of sales.
Yeah, so basically we have to get the sum of sales, right? And that's how we have to have here. But in the data set, you can see in the data set, what do we have? We have the sum, values here. We are having some, that text information, sales. After the numbers, we have sales, right? And that's we have to first remove that to make it a number type. And only with the number type, we can get the different aggregation, right? Only with the number type, we can get the different aggregation, right? So now, let's see, we can, how we can change this. What we can do here, that we can replace these values, right? We had seen that we can replace the error, right? So we can replace these values, with some empty string, right? No, empty value. So we can just replace, click, select this column and replace these values. Okay. Now, what do we have? We have a space first, then we have cells. So, and we are replacing with an empty value. Okay. So that's how you are, because this is a fixed length string, right? Fixed length string, we are able to do this. We are able to directly replace it. So there's no issue in this, right? But if it were not a fixed value, then we have to take some other, we have to use some other option. And this is so easy that, right, that we are able to split the columns, we are able to, and you will find most of these capabilities also in Excel. Not most of the capabilities, almost all of these capabilities. You will find these capabilities in Excel also. So as I told you before also that this Power BI is using the capabilities of all the capabilities of Microsoft tools, existing tools. Okay, it has just enhanced the power of doing the computation with the engine, right, which is Vertipack engine. It says its name, right? So that will give you more in performant calculations. The calculations will be done, very efficiently. Now, so now we can change this value to the numbers, right? The whole number. So this is a number type now. So we can check our visualization. Fine. And you will be able to, if this, yeah, changes are applied. Now you will be able to change it to some other value, same sums, because those were in the sums. Fine. Now this is so awesome that we have got this value, right? Got this data, right? And this is good. Now what we want to do is we want to do some more on this. So we have seen that there was a fixed length string and we were just able to replace it. Right? We were able to replace this value with some other value. Let's get a different data set, right? How we can also get the data set many different ways. One is using the new data set, fine. So you can get this here. You can also right click over here and the queries pane. You are seeing the queries pane, right? You can right click over here, right? New query, go to new query and get any data from here, right? You can also do that. Right? And we are going to get the data set called stored cities. So again, we are starting from the very first thing. What does that mean? That we are going to do the first. We want to load this data, right? Here. So this is not still it is not loaded to the model, right? It is in the separate tool, Power Query Editor tool, right? Power Query Editor is a separate tool. So we have got the data in the Power Query Editor tool. So let's tell you one more thing, that we have one more and very, very good tool in Power BI. Okay, a very good tool which is now being used, in the uh, actual project. Okay, most of the project will be using that tool, and that tool comes with the premium license. Fine, that is called data flow. So you know data flow from Power Automate. Have you ever seen anywhere data flow?
Yeah, yeah, I see.
Okay. So this data flow, what it does, it will also have the same capabilities whatever we have here in Power Query Editor. Okay. Even it will have more than these capabilities. So you can get the sources like here, whatever we are getting the sources from different places, right? In data flow also, we'll be able to get the sources from different places. But that is not like here. That will be web based in service, right? Power BI service, we will have the data flow. So let's stop that, okay? And we can, you can, check more about the data flow, okay? Because we will not be covering that. We are having the pro license, right? All of you, and we will not be covering here in this session. We don't have even because it is similar. Again, everything is similar to the whatever we have here, only the logic or only the use cases, how we are going to use. So you have to understand that part, right? Okay, let's find. Now the very first thing what we want to do is the use first row as headers. Okay. First row as header. So this was the very first step, and the next step is we want to analyze first, get all of these columns to the right data type, right? But before that, we are seeing that we have to clean our data here. We would like to know the store size. So what are these store size? So these are the information from our different, from the sales of our different products and all in our e-commerce business, right? And we have different stores in different places, different cities, right? To keep our product, right? So we want to understand what is the size of our stores in different places so that we know the capacity, right? We know the capacity of our store. Uh, it- we can analyze, okay, if the sales of some cities or around that area is more, we need more capacity stores, right? So we have to also analyze those things, right? For that, we want to analyze this information, store size, right? But what do we see here? We see that we have the numbers, the size first, then we have the units, right? And units are also different. So M square and QL, all right? So how do we, replace these, how do we now replace these units with empty string to get only the numbers, right? So if we, how will we get the correct store size here? If we just remove the unit, will it give me the correct store size?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, but here we may have, these units are different. So it may mean differently, right? Numbers may be differently associated with this meaning, right? So what we can do, but here we don't want to learn that part, that we want to change it to the same unit, right? We don't want to change anything to the same unit. Only we want to get the numbers from here. So whenever we have some other units, we have to first bring it to the same units to get the similar data, right? Same data. So that is the very first thing we have to get the data to, right? Now here we have the numbers and we are seeing that different units are there. So one option is to replace the values, but we can see that it cannot be easily replaced. Here you can see we cannot easily replace. Either we have to get it, this value we have to get. Here we have to just copy it, right? We cannot even write that value, right? Here. So we can just copy this value and paste it here. So this way we can replace, right? But you can see that there are two different values. So what we are going to do is we are not going to use this replace option. We have another tool called split tool. See, what it does, separate elements of a column into multiple columns. And this is being used many times. Okay, this is being used many times where we have the customer information, where we have first name, middle name, last name. We have some other information, right, which we want to split many a times, right? So in those cases, we are going to use, right, these kind of functions. Fine. And we also do similar things there in the other part, like, okay, extract, we want to get the different part of the dates, right, month, day, and separated by something, right? We can use directly this tool where we don't need to use the extract functions to get all of those things, right? So yeah, we have this tool now that is split the tool, and we can split these data using these different options. So we can use the delimiter, we can use the number two characters. Here we have the number two characters. So we can use also this, we can use in by positions, right? We can give their positions that, okay, by after second position, we want to split, right? So all of these different to digit to non-digit, fine, and then by non-digit to digit. So these are very helpful options, right? And most of the time, we will be, changing our or splitting our data for these regions only. Whatever options we have, so it covers almost all the options. We don't see any other options outside of this, right? To split the data. So this is how you will be splitting. Let's say in this case, we can use the delimiter also, which is here is the delimiter is the space. We can use the digit to non-digit also. So digit to non-digit is very easy. See, like digit to non-digit, it has just splitting it, and here we have all the other option, right? And that can be also delimiter. We can use this delimiter, like here we have the comma separated. Okay, we want to just do the advanced each occurrence of the delimiter here. We want to use the custom delimiter, which is the space, right? Here we have the delimiter called space, right? And that's what we are just going to do here, like space delimiter, and it is done. Okay, okay, we have selected some other column. We have to select the correct column, right? And we have just done by delimiter and space. Okay, it is already space there. So space delimiter is there, leftmost delimiter, each occurrence of the delimiter. So you have the split option, which split option we want to use. So that also there. So now it is done, right? So that's how you are going to split the values here. And now we can change the data type of this correctly. Right? Data type of this, and this has to be the numbers, whole numbers, store size. Fine. And this is the unit. Now, one more thing we have to discuss here. We can rename any of these columns just by double clicking it. We did not take it before, right? So you can rename this column just by double clicking this. Right? Just double click store size. And you have the store units, right? You can just write units, store units, right? Size units. So we have just renamed it, and you can rename all of the columns according to the business naming convention. Whatever naming convention your business will be applied, so that you have to remember. Now that we have used all of these business convention, naming conventions, and all these things, right? So you have to, okay. We have just done that. We have just and now one more thing you can do also, right? You can whenever there is a split, right? We can also arrange the columns, different columns, right? Nearby. All of the different columns we can arrange nearby. Related columns we can keep it nearby, right? First name, second name, last name, and all these things. So we have to keep it nearby if it is separated, right? So you can also, what you can do, you can also remove, place it, any places you want. Just drag and drop anywhere. And how do you do this? You just, press your mouse, right? Right button, and drag it to anywhere. Drag it to anywhere. Fine. So this is how you will be reordering your or arranging your columns. And this is not going to affect any of your data. Okay. This will not have any impact on your data. So that's how you are going to reorder the columns and all. Fine. Now, now we have just replaced this data. We can, here you can see that we want to analyze our store size information based on the cities or state, different states, right? So we have here the states and city information which we want to on which we want to analyze our data. Fine. So this also we can now split the data. Fine. Split data same way. Here we have the fixed element, or we have the some delimiter, right? Using this delimiter, we can split the data into different columns. So it's just now very simple that we get the column splitted just in one go by using delimiter. Right? And we want to split each occurrence of the data. So, and here you can see that we have only the hyphen. We want to use the space, then hyphen, then space. Because we have in our data set space, hyphen, space, and we want to consider all of that as the delimiter. Right? And now we can split all of this data. So this is all done in just one go. And this is so simple, right? Otherwise, what we have to do, we have to create a separate, we have to create a duplicate of the column, right? How do you create a duplicate of the column? Let's see, we want to create a duplicate of the column, right? How do you create a duplicate of this column? You can just right click on this, right? And create duplicate. Or you can go to the choose column, right? And here you can go for just choosing the column and I just do the duplicate of that column. So let's say we have just creating the duplicate column. Okay, duplicate of this column. Now what we will be doing here that okay, duplicate, then insert a step. Fine. In this case, we have duplicated this column and we would like to get this data, okay, get these values just by getting the first two values. So we have a function called extract. Okay, we have to understand also this also. So we have a function called extract. Let's go to the transform and you will see here that we have a function called extract. Okay. In these cases, we can also get the extracted data. So we can extract the two values overall. We want to get the name, state name. So we can extract it. How do we extract it? We have to get to this and we can extract it based on the length. Okay. We can extract it based on the length. So insert this and extract it based on the length. So now, okay, we have just calculated the length. We want to extract it based on the length. Okay, duplicate one, and we want to extract it based on the length, based on the characters, first characters. Okay, first two characters we want to extract. First two characters we want to extract. So here you can see that we have extracted first two characters. So like that, we want to extract the other parts of the data, right? Other parts of it. So how do we extract other parts of the same thing? We have to again create a new, column, right? Duplicate this column and we can just, get the other part of this. So other part of this means the middle part. Okay. How do we get the middle part? Based on the, let's see, we have the text before delimiter, we have the text after delimiter, we have the text between delimiters option. So we can get it using the text between delimiter. So let's say we are going to get the text between delimiter, or this is we are going to create a new column, right? We are going to extract it in a new column, which we don't want to do. We want to just the existing is this one. We want to change it. Okay, we want to replace it, right? So this way we are not going to use it. We have to use it between delimiter only. So we have to insert it right between delimiter. We have to insert the step, but that step will do some introduce some error. Okay. So let's say start delimiter. What is the start delimiter? Space hyphen space. This is the start delimiter. End delimiter. What is the end delimiter? Space hyphen space. Right. And that's what we are just doing here. And you have some other options. Start from advanced options. You can start from the zero. Right. Number of ends or the delimiters to skip, right? How many delimiters we want to skip at the end. So we don't want to skip at any delimiters. So you have all of these options, right? advanced options. So you can check all of these different options, right? So what does it mean? That a number of start delimiters we want to skip. Suppose we want to skip some of the delimiters from the starting, beginning. We want to skip some of the delimiters from the end. So we can also do that, right? Let's say we are going to just use this function for introducing the and getting the middle part. And this is how we have got the middle part, right? So this is how we are getting the using the extracted, but the in this case we would not like to get we would not like to use the extract function. Why? Because we have the three parts and we have a very easy way to do this. We have very easy way to get all of these parts, different parts, and that is a split function, right? And that's why we are going for the split function rather than the extract function, right? So let's remove these steps, different steps, right? And remove these different steps and this all step also. Duplicate columns, right? So yeah, we have got any question you have till now? Do you have any question?
No, noted.
Yeah, someone is asking something. Yeah, please go ahead if you have any question. Okay, fine. So now we have just splitted our columns and we just need to rename it, right? These are states. So you have to rename all of these columns. So state, then you have the state abbreviation, right? And then you have the, that means state name you can also give, or you can give it a state, you can give it a state code, something like that, whatever your business prefers, right? And this is city. This is city. Fine. Now we have got all of this information correctly, right? Then you can see whenever we are creating something, it is also creating the steps, everything as a steps, right? So we are at the last step, always picking up the last step, right? Whatever we do, it will always pick up the last step. Fine. And now this is latitude and longitude we are having. So why latitude and longitude we will be having in the data set? To show these location, right? To show these locations on the map. Fine. So let's get this location on the map. Let's get this extracted into two different columns. Split this data using the delimiter. And what is the delimiter? Here you can see the delimiter is not being picked up. Most of the time it will be picked up automatically. So we have space slash space, right? This is the delimiter we want to use, and we want to do this, right? Now splitted the data, fine. And we have splitted the data with latitude and longitude. So latitude and this is longitude. So this is latitude and this is longitude. Fine. We have got the all of this data. So now we have to, use this data. We have to use this data. We would like to get the store size from this, right? So how do we use this data now in the data in our visualization, right? This data will be utilized to understand our capacity, store capacity in different places based on the city and state, right? Aggregated capacity we want to understand. And we would also like to in business cases, right? Why they would like to analyze the capacity of their store. Maybe they have upsells, they have downsales, they are doing some losses, they want to close out some of the stores in a city. So which store they can close that, right? So there are so based on the sales they will decide all of these factors, right? All of these things. So for that, they will do the analysis on the stores and all of this, right? So now we have to set the type, column type, data type correctly first. We have to set all of this data type correct. So just detect the data type, and we'll mostly use this detect data type option rather than going for individual data type changes. Right? So we have just gone to detect data type. We can also remove the first change type. Okay, I want to just remove this change type here and want to use the only this data type change. Right? Now, we have got all of this data in the correct form. Okay, we can analyze this store size in our visualization. Let's go back.
So actually before that, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Suppose we have a sales column in our data, but like in sales column we have a special character like at the rate and backslash and dollar
Yes,
sign or
yes,
currency signs, and
yes.
we want to remove the special character from the data, or suppose we have a first name and the last name, and in between we have a special character.
Uh,
So we want to remove. So how we will do that?
so if you want to split or just want to remove, removing is just fine. Okay, removing is just replace the value. You can just use that
No,
special character.
no, sir. Actually, in a salary column, okay, or a
Huh,
sales column, we have a currency sign. So
huh,
that is a fix. We can replace it. Okay, but
hmm,
suppose we have a name like ABCDE. That is my name.
hmm,
Okay, but
hmm,
in between we have a at the rate and
huh.
a
Correct,
after that
correct,
at the rate after that dollar,
correct,
and we
correct.
have a lot of names there,
Huh,
and
correct.
there is no fixed pattern like
That's fine. Yes,
okay.
correct.
So my question is that how to remove special character in Power BI?
You just want to remove, right? Oh, so you
Yeah,
want to take all the special characters at once? Like any there's no pattern for the special characters.
yeah,
Like you are saying that you have the first name, then you have any special characters, maybe at the rate, maybe dollar sign, maybe any other
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't have any fixed pattern for that, right?
Or suppose we have a phone number, and in between phone number we have a lots of special characters. So how we will remove that?
That means you are saying that you have different special characters, not just one special character. And
Yeah,
if it is one special character, it is fine that we can we can
so
easily
remove or
remove it
is
just by replacing the values, right? Or splitting the characters. We can
yeah,
take it differently, right? But you have many different characters, different characters. So here we have more capabilities, advanced capabilities in Power BI using Python. Okay, so this kind of thing we can use Python. Okay, so later we'll see at the end. Yeah, we will see, later when once we are going to complete it, that how we can use Python also for doing these activities, right? If something is not done directly by Power BI, right, we'll be able to use the Python things, and also we have the DAX capabilities, right, from which we will be able to do many more other things. Okay, so we'll see also during DAXes that how these are whatever specific standard tools we have. So we have fixed information, right, on this tool. We don't have any options to change these options, right? Whatever the options are provided, and whatever standard options mostly we'll be having, right? Because see, if we have the first name, middle name, last name, so in between we have some other special characters. So mostly the companies will they will use some kind of pattern, right? So those will be mostly there, but if there is no pattern at all, right, then we can use some other capabilities of Power BI, which is being used by also Python. Integrating Python also, we can remove all of that, and yeah, we can also check with the DAX columns creation whenever we are doing the DAX columns, right? we can inform many of these things using if else statement, using some other statement. Right? So we have so many things, capabilities we have. So where we will be able to doing the advanced calculation. Now we are just
This is a very
yeah. Please.
yeah, sir. Actually, this is a very. I think this is a very important part of data cleaning.
Haha.
So
So yeah, you should also understand that although it will be able to do all of that, okay, yeah, you will be able to use the DAX, okay, which will you can remove this data by first giving the list of all of the information whatever you have, that these are the special characters we may have, and using the DAX you can replace the value. So that's fine. But most of the time, whatever we'll be having in the data warehouse, right? We'll have the data clipped, but here we'll be taking up only those things which are minor changes mostly in Power BI. Uh, though we have all the capabilities, we'll be able to do it, right? Later we'll see while we create the column, DAX column, we'll see how you can use the DAX to do different calculations on your data, on your column. How you can form how you can form a new column from the existing column, and you will be able to do all of these capabilities whatever we are doing here, but you will have more options, open options there, okay, which we can be used in the access. Fine. Yeah. But with the tool, direct option of the tool, you don't have such option to check all of the different special characters and do this. Okay, you cannot check all of these together at once, those
okay,
all those special characters.
okay, thank
Fine.
you.
Yeah. So let's see. Uh, okay. Already 10, 10. So now, what we have just done, we have created, we have just cleaned some of the data, and we want to check our store size, store capacity size, right? And we will be able to do it using the store PT information, and we'll use that in the we'll try to we'll get the data for the state, different state, and x-axis. We want to know the store size, and this is the store size data we are just seeing here. So we are seeing that okay, CA is having some most of the capacity on CL Texas, right? California and Texas, and all this we are seeing all of these things. So we will be able to analyze why we are seeing there will be question. So whenever you are doing some analysis, right, there must be a question associated to that analysis. There must be a question associated to that, right? So we here maybe a question is okay. Our business is expanding or getting more of the request, right, from some of the states which has less capacity, and we had to bring the product from different state to fulfill this request, right? We would like to increase the size of the stores, but in that case we want to analyze okay what are the store size here and what are the nearby requests and all these things. So based on all these, we would like to increase the capacity so that we can also fulfill the needs of other nearby states or maybe something like that, right? If we make the store size here, if we increase the store size, so there will be questions associated to all of the analysis, right? So always whenever you are creating a visualization, it should not be without any purpose. It should be with a purpose, right? And this purpose will be mostly given by the customers. So they will ask you, okay, we want to analyze this and we want to do this. So they will give you the requirement to do the analysis. So you have to use the best visualization to fit their requirement. Okay, so that's you have to do. Now, okay, let's wrap up the session here. So what we have seen today, we have seen how we can split the data, how we can replace the errors, how we can some of the errors based on local, how we can resolve those issues, right? So those few things we have just seen, and this is the just the basic of data cleaning. Fine. And we'll be able to do more advanced cleaning activities based on the regex and all these things as mentioned, right? That we have different patterns and all. So you can use all of those things based on the Python capabilities, based on X capabilities. So many other tools are there which will come later. Okay, fine. So fine. Do you have any question? Okay. If we don't have any question, then we can wrap up the session here. And thank you for joining to this session. Yeah. We'll meet then on Thursday. Thank you. Bye.